Her eyes were red, and her voice was filled with desperation. The entire banquet hall fell into a suffocating hush. Every pair of eyes locked onto Susie and me, the clink of glasses and low chatter vanishing completely. The guests murmured among themselves, their voices laced with curiosity and judgment, while Benjamin shrank back, his previously triumphant expression replaced by unease. My parents stood frozen, their faces ashen, unable to utter a single word to defuse the chaos they had created. Susie's small hands wrapped tightly around my phone, her knuckles white with strain. Tears streamed down her cheeks, smudging the light makeup she had carefully applied that morning. Her shoulders shook violently, and she kept repeating the same plea, her voice cracking with every syllable. 5 minutes, Christopher. Just 5 minutes. I beg you. If you still hate them after that, if you still want to expose everything, I'll hand you the phone and never stop you. I promise. I stared down at her, my chest burning with a tangled mess of anger and a faint, stubborn flicker of doubt. For 10 years, she had been the only one in this family who had ever shown me even a sliver of kindness. She had left sticky notes with birthday wishes on my desk when our parents forgot, had saved me extra portions of my favorite snacks, and had stayed up with me when I'd cried myself to sleep over their neglect. But now, she was standing between me and the truth I'd spent a decade craving. Move, I snarled, reaching for my phone. My fingers brushed hers, but she clung to it even tighter, stepping backward until her back pressed against the edge of a decorated table. A crystal vase wobbled, and a guest reached out to steady it, their eyes wide with shock. Please, she whimpered. Don't do this. Not now. You'll regret it. I swear, you will. Dad finally snapped out of his daze, his face contorting with rage and embarrassment. He strode over, his steps heavy, and grabbed my arm roughly. That's enough. Apologize to the guests and leave this instant, or I'll drag you out myself. His grip was painful, his fingers digging into my skin, the same harsh touch he'd used whenever I'd dared to question his favoritism over the years. I wrenched my arm free, my gaze cold. Don't touch me. You lost the right to order me around the moment you chose to throw a party for a stranger while ignoring your own son's birthday for the 10th year in a row. Mom hurried over, her eyes red and puffy, her previously elegant hair messy from panic. She reached out as if to touch my face, but I flinched away. Chris, baby, please. Let Susie talk. She's not lying. We didn't mean to hurt you like this. Her voice was trembling, the gentle, fake tone she'd used at dinner completely gone, replaced by raw desperation. Didn't mean to? I laughed bitterly, gesturing around the lavish hall. You spent 6 figures on a piano for him, booked this entire luxury banquet hall, bought him a diamond crown and a custom necklace. You called him your sweetheart, transferred him a huge sum of money, and begged each other not to let me find out. And you expect me to believe you didn't mean to hurt me? The guests murmured louder, their whispers cutting through the air like knives. Some shook their heads in disapproval, others pulled out their phones, quietly recording the explosive scene. The perfect, wealthy image my parents had spent years cultivating was crumbling right in front of everyone, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. Benjamin stood awkwardly to the side, the diamond crown still perched awkwardly on his head. He looked from me to my parents, then to Susie, his expression conflicted. He opened his mouth as if to speak, but no words came out. He was no longer the center of attention, he was just an outsider, trapped in a family's catastrophic breakdown. Susie took a deep, shaky breath, wiping the tears from her cheeks with the back of one hand while still clutching my phone with the other. Everyone, please, she called out, her voice surprisingly firm despite her tears. I know this looks terrible. I know you're all shocked, but my parents aren't the villains you think they are. Christopher, please, just wait 5 minutes. The surprise we planned for you is almost ready. It's outside this hall. Please, just come with me. Don't make me beg you in front of all these people. My jaw tightened. The surprise she kept mentioning, was it all just another lie? Another cruel trick to make me look like a fool, just like the past 10 years? Part of me wanted to snatch my phone back, project every screenshot, every video, for the entire world to see. I wanted to watch my parents' perfect life collapse, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain they'd inflicted on me. But another part of me, the part that still clung to the faint memory of a childhood where they'd once held me, hesitated. 5 minutes, I said, my voice cold and final. That's all you get. If this is another lie, I'll not only expose everything here but will send every piece of evidence to every news outlet, every social media platform. I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done. Susie's face relaxed with relief, so intense she almost collapsed. She nodded vigorously. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, follow me. She turned and hurried toward the double doors of the banquet hall, not waiting to see if I would follow. I hesitated for a moment, then stepped after her, ignoring my parents' frantic calls and the guests' curious stares. Dad made a move to follow, but Susie spun around, holding out a hand to stop him. Stay here. Both of you. He needs to hear this from me first. My parents froze, their faces filled with guilt and anxiety. They exchanged a helpless look, then reluctantly stayed behind, watching as I followed Susie out of the hall. The noise of the banquet faded behind us, replaced by the soft hum of the hotel's air conditioning and the echo of our footsteps on the marble floor. Susie led me down a long, carpeted corridor away from the bustling party. We passed several empty function rooms, her steps quick and urgent. She didn't speak, and neither did I. The weight of 10 years of neglect hung heavy between us, thick enough to touch. I kept my hands clenched at my sides, ready to turn back at any moment, ready to march right back into that banquet hall and end everything. Finally, she stopped in front front of a set of double doors at the end of the corridor, the ones marked private function room reserved. She took another deep breath, her hand hovering over the doorknob. Before I open this, I need you to promise me one thing. Don't get angry before you see everything. Don't make any judgments until I've explained everything. I said nothing, just stared at her, my expression unreadable. Susie bit her lip, then turned the doorknob and pushed the doors open. The moment I stepped inside, I froze. The room was nothing like the lavish, blue-themed hall where Benjamin's party was taking place. Instead, it was decorated in my favorite colors, deep green and silver. Balloons in those hues floated gently from the ceiling, and banners that read "Happy 18th Birthday Christopher" were strung across every wall. On the far wall, a large projector screen displayed a slideshow of photos, me as a newborn, me at my first piano recital, me graduating middle school. Photos that my parents had never bothered to frame, never bothered to show anyone. A long table was covered with my favorite foods, my mom's once famous chocolate cake, the one she hadn't baked for me in years, my favorite sushi platter, even the rare lemon tarts I'd only mentioned once in passing. In the corner of the room sat a brand new piano, not the limited edition blue one they'd bought for Benjamin, but a custom-made grand piano in dark mahogany, the exact model I'd spent months researching, the one I'd never dared to ask for outright. And standing in the middle of the room, holding a small birthday cake with a single candle, were a group of people I'd never expected to see, my childhood best friend, who I'd lost touch with after my parents stopped letting me invite friends over, my old piano teacher who'd always praised my talent, several neighbors who'd watched me grow up. They all smiled softly at me, their eyes filled with warmth. But what made my breath catch was the sight in front of the piano. Lying on a velvet cushion was a thick stack of envelopes, each with my name written on it in my mom's handwriting. And next to them, a leather-bound journal, its cover embossed with my initials. Susie walked over to the table and picked up the journal, handing it to me. Her voice was quiet, gentle, nothing like the desperate plea from moments before. "Open it." My hands shook as I took the journal. The cover was smooth, expensive, the kind of thing my parents would never buy for me, or so I'd thought. I flipped it open, and my eyes immediately filled with tears. Every page was filled with my mom's handwriting. Journal entries dated every single year on my birthday. Entries about how sorry she was, about how much she loved me, about how she wished she could be a better mother. Entries about the guilt she felt every time she missed my birthday, every time she had to push me aside. I flipped through the pages, my heart racing. There were entries about doctor's appointments, about bills piling up, about a secret I'd never known. "Christopher," Susie said, her voice breaking through my daze. "Benjamin isn't just some client's son. He's the son of Dad's former business partner. The partner who saved Dad's life, who saved our entire family from going bankrupt 15 years ago. That man died in a car accident, and his wife passed away a year later. Benjamin has no family left. The family's will stated that Dad and Mom had to take custody of him and they had to give him a stable, loving life, publicly, until he turns 21. Otherwise, the entire family fortune, the business, everything, goes to a distant relative, and we lose everything." I stopped flipping the journal, my eyes wide with shock. I looked up at Susie, unable to process what I was hearing. "The will had strict conditions," Susie continued.